a restoration ecologist, an environmental agricultural communicator concerned with the protection of biodiversity, sustainable international food security, and I'm sorry, I missed something there. Protection of biodiversity, sustainable international food security. I'm sorry, I'm going right. With emphasis on native pollinator conservation. She has been working on sustainable farmland conservation models and was the lead fundraiser in the Protect the Toronto Farm campaign. She is the founder of the Chef Survival Challenge Farmland Conservation and fundraiser for the Big Dream Farm Fund. Let's welcome Natalie Chambers.
Inspiring. Before I go on and talk a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to talk louder. I am also a farmer at Madrona Farm. And our whole philosophy is about biodiversity. We are organic. We grow 103 crops over the year, and they are all organic. We practice agroecology. Our whole emphasis is on biodiversity. We manage our farm as close to a natural ecosystem as possible. We have bees on our farm. Here in British Columbia, we are blessed with 450 native pollinators. That's right, most people can't even believe it when I tell them that. It's like, wow. And right now, Monsanto's GMOs and GE technologies are threatening our bees. Here I'm going to actually get into, I've been doing a lot of speaking internationally, and I've done some studying, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about the global situation, the Canadian situation, and the local situation, and how we can all take part in making some serious change. We're doing it here today, and so first of all, the Monsanto's promise to feed the world has failed. They have failed in feeding the world as they claimed they would do.
They're destroying it!
Currently, there are 1 billion people who are walking the planet hungry. If we have a population of 7.1 billion, this is 1 in 7 people. This is totally and utterly unacceptable when we have the land to grow food for everyone. And that is absolutely unacceptable. The unsustainable practices of the Monsanto's green revolution have left the developing countries in a havoc. They have degraded soils. They have been a part of major losses of biodiversity. Wildlife has gone extinct. There's been salination of 20 million acres of farmland in India. 7 million of those acres have been abandoned. This is just complete, absolute insanity. And also, right now, 250,000 Indian farmers have committed suicide by drinking Roundup in their fields due to crop failures. This Monsanto revolution that said they were going to help the poorest people of the world, they've made them poorer. And now they're committing suicide. Every 30 minutes, an Indian farmer commits suicide. This is just absolutely unacceptable. You think we're safe here in Canada? Well, guess what? Last year, Olivier de Schutter, the UN Special Rapporteur, he came to Canada. And you know what he was going to do? He was going to issue a food security test. But you know what? He got stopped at the border. The Canadian official said, you know what? You should save your resources for the developing countries. But guess what? He persevered. And guess what? There are 2.5 million Canadians living food insecure here. This is just absolute garbage. 900,000 of them children. This is unacceptable here. And considering right now, we are living in Victoria. Okay, this is like location. Victoria, Vancouver, some of the best farmland in Canada. We are a climate change logical place to grow food. And what's happening? The farmland's disappearing. Scientists now tell us that GMO and GE foods are unsafe for lab rats, humans, and future generations of life on Earth. In Vandana Shiva, I'm also a big fan of Vandana Shiva. In her address to the United Nations on the future of food on this planet, she said the future of food on Earth is up to small organic farms, not the big monocrops, not the unsustainable practices of the Monsanto's revolution. They remove biodiversity and they replace it with GMO technology. This is unacceptable. Without biodiversity, we cannot do sustainable agriculture. We cannot have habitat for the bees. And you know what? You here all can do something really, really amazing. In about 3 minutes, you can determine whether the farm that you're getting your food on is a sustainable farm. First of all, you should all be reading the labels of where you're getting your food. I agree with Deepa, local, organic, wholesome. You know what? You need to ask some questions here. It's up to us now. Our power, our money, our voices. We are in charge. This is our food revolution. Yes, it's based on love, but without love, without social justice, and without that, there is no love. So we have to love ourselves. So first of all, you ask the farmer, what are you doing? What kind of practices are you using? What seeds are you using? Where are you getting your seeds from? You enter their farm, you visit their farm, and the first thing you look for is birds. That's the first checklist on your, is this the kind of farm I want to get my food from? Secondly, you look for bee holes, okay? 70% of the bees here the 70% of bees nest in ground. And you can see these nice little holes in the ground. 30% of the bees nest in trees. The farm you want to be getting your food from has trees in its proximity around it. And then the next thing is frogs. Okay? If you've got a 3 out of 3, you're going to say, excellent, you're going to give your farmer a big hug, and you're going to keep on buying there, and if they don't, you're going to start demanding that they put those things on there. You're going to start demanding to your stores that they consume the products that you want to consume. Because you know what? When we consume genetically modified organisms, we actually are affecting and changing our own DNA. And that is just not acceptable. When we give plants cancer and then we eat those plants, what do you think? It just doesn't seem very logical to me. So another really important thing that we must do, and I always talk about this in my presentations, is, okay, the world is an apple. You know, we're going to get the world and we're going to think about it as an apple, and we're going to quarter it. And we're going to take 3 sections away for ocean. We're left with 1/4. We're going to cut that quarter in half, so we have an 1/8. And we're going to take an 1/8 away for areas that are inhospitable for agriculture. We're left with 1/8. And that's where we live. That's where our houses, roads, hospitals, Canadian Shield is. Now we are going to look at the area that agriculture is possible, the class 1 and 2 soils. It is the peel on 1/8 of an apple. That is all we have to feed 7.1 billion people, and in 2050, 9.1 billion people predicted. So you know what? It's time we protect our farmland at all costs. We cannot let another little piece slip away. This is our legacy. This is what we want to do for future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Natalie Chambers. That was awesome.